Hello, hello! Let's get going here. Exponent rules division. Our learning goal, I can work with positive and negative exponents. Why? This is a tool that I'll need to have in high school. Imagine people are going to make a human chain to cross a river. The river is 30 feet across. Each person has an arm span of 5 feet. How many people will be needed? Well, that's 30 divided by 5. I'll need 6 people to make that work. Well, let's ramp it up, or actually down, to the atomic level. How many hydrogen atoms would it take to cross a human hair? So the width of a hydrogen atom is 1 times 10 to the negative 10 meters, and the width of a hair is 3 times 10 to the negative 5 meters. So how do I actually divide 3 times 10 to the negative 5, the width of the hair, by the width of an atom? 1 times 10 to the negative 10. That's what we're going to look at. The processor in your cell phone uses tiny numbers like these. Division of exponents is needed. So let's start with our notes. You can start by putting your name on your notes and the title, which is Exponent Rules Division. So let's get a name. And our title is Exponent Rules Division. And we'll start with this one. Start with x to the third over x to the fifth. Well, x to the third is x times x times x, right? And x to the fifth is x times x times x times x times x. This is the red marker of death and destruction, and I use it to cancel things out. So if I have an x over an x, they cancel out. What they're really doing is becoming a 1. X over x is 1. So that's a 1. And x over x is 1, and x over x is 1. And what am I left with? I'm left with 1 over x squared. Right here, I'm canceling x's. And that is division of exponents. This is x to the third divided by x to the fifth. And it becomes 1 over x squared. That's division of exponents. Now, I don't want to have to list it out each time, so I have a little rule for it. And this is what I think. I think, hey, how many x's are on top? That's my first question. How many x's on the bottom? That's my second question. Are there more on the top or the bottom? These are the things I think about. So with this one, how many are on top? 3. How many are on the bottom? 5. Are there more on the top or the bottom? Bottom. How many more are on the bottom? There are 2 more on the bottom, which means my final answer is going to be x to the squared on the bottom. If there were more on the top, I'd end up with the answer on top. If there are more on the bottom, I end up with the answer on the bottom. Let's do one more example here. Let's do this one. Let's go x to the sixth over x to the second. So ask yourself the questions. How many x's are on top? 6. How many are on the bottom? 2. Are there more on the top or the bottom? Top. So my answer is going to be on the top. How many more on the top? There are 4 more on the top. There you go. Let's do another one. Let's go with squiggly line. M to the 7th. M to the 12th. How many m's are on the top? 7. How many m's are on the bottom? 12. Are there more on the top or the bottom? Bottom, which means my answer is going to be on the bottom. How many more on the bottom? 5. M to the 5th. I'll do a couple examples here. Let's go with, so this guy right here, where am I? Boom. This is an r to the 5th. How many r's are on top? 1. How many are on the bottom? 2. Are there more on the top or the bottom? Bottom. How many more? 1. 1 over r to the 1st. How many y's are on the top? 20. How many y's are on the bottom? 30. Are there more on the top or the bottom? Bottom. How many more? 10. All right, let's just simplify some fractions for fun. Not for fun, because you need to be able to simplify a fraction. This is a review. So let's simplify this. This is 24 divided by 6, which is 4. This is 15 over 25. I can divide the top by 5. I can divide the bottom by 5. And this becomes 3/5. This guy, I can divide the top by 3. I can divide the bottom by 3. Simplifying fractions, that takes me to 4/5. Okay, simplifying fractions, that's a skill you already have, but you're going to need to keep using it. Now we're going to do some Twix problems. So back into your notes. 3 delicious problems in one. So we will do, so this one's not going to be a Twix problem, it's going to be just 2 flavors. 10x to the 6th over 2x squared. So it's really 10 over 2 and x to the 6th over x to the 2nd. So those are the 2 problems. So what's a candy with two flavors? Oh, a candy with like chocolate. Yeah, it's Reese's. It's a Reese's. It's chocolate and peanut. This is chocolate and peanut butter. So 10 over 2 becomes 5. X to the 6th over x to the 2nd would be, are there more on the top or the bottom? There are more on the top. How many more? 4. X to the 4th. There you go. Twix problem. And we'll just do some other ones. All right, so let's take a look at this guy. So I have a negative 12 over 24. So negative 12 over 24 is negative 1/2. M to the 7th over m to the 12th. There are more m's on the bottom. How many more? 5. P to the 1st over p to the 2nd. There are more on the bottom. How many more? 2. And I'd probably clean this up and write it as negative 1 over 2m to the 5th, p to the 2nd. This one, now the 12 is just a loner and doesn't have anybody to hang out with, so he's just going to be in the bottom. I have an r to the 1st over r to the 2nd. That's going to be an r to the 1st on the bottom. I have an x to the 4th, x to the 7th. That's going to be an x to the 3rd on the bottom. There we go. And I think that's it. Oh, nope, there's one more. All right. 100 divided by 2 is 50. I have an x to the 1st and an x to the 0. Are there more on the top or the bottom? Top, how many more? 1. I have a y to the 20 over y to the 30. More on the top or the bottom? Bottom, how many more? 10. All right. Thank you for watching.